If you're thinking of moving to Portland, Oregon, and Lake Oswego is on your radar, then this video is for you. This is gonna be a full map tour. I'm gonna get on Google Maps and we're gonna dive in and we're gonna go through some of the neighborhoods, where to go to eat, where to go to shopping. We're gonna give you a real overview of what it's like living in Lake Oswego on this map tour. So you can really get a full understanding and a scope of where everything's kind of oriented in Lake Oswego. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Cullen, a local real estate agent right here in Lake Oswego. My family and I moved here over 3 years ago and we love living here. So I want to share a little bit with you what it's like living here in Lake Oswego with this map tour, so you can kind of really get more of a high overview of where things are and things that you might not have known about. All right, with that, let's get back into it. So here's Portland right here. This is going to be your downtown area right in here. And Lake Oswego is about a 20 to 25 minute drive just south of downtown. If I can pull down here we go. So here's the Portland International Airport right here. You know, this takes me about 45 minutes to get there from Lake Oswego. And one of the really cool things about Lake Oswego is that it's right outside the city. So you're not actually technically in the city of Portland, you're in the city of Lake Oswego, but you are within the Portland metro area. You know, this whole area is the Portland metro area. All right, so Lake Oswego, directly south here of Portland, you got the 5 highway, which is your major highway that goes north and south here through Portland and right up through to Seattle. It's awesome just having this highway right just to the west side of Lake Oswego. It means you can just shoot downtown really quickly. Or if you live on the east side of Lake Oswego, you can jump on the 43, which actually isn't a highway or anything. It's just a normal road, but the speed limit goes, you know, from anywhere from like 35 to 40. And that goes right along the Willamette River here. And that's actually one of my preferred routes that I'll take to get to downtown. It's just so pretty, and definitely recommend that. If you go on the highway, you might save a few minutes, so it just depends on what you're doing that day. But if you're on the west side of Lake Oswego, you definitely just hop on the 5 here. When you're on the east side, you can just hop on the 43. So it's one of the really nice pluses to living in Lake Oswego. It's so close to downtown. You kind of get the best benefit of everything, really. I think with the great school districts, that's one of the top reasons people are moving to Lake Oswego from out of the area, or even from in the city. They end up having a family, schools are more important to them, and so they end up reaching out to find a place in Lake Oswego. One of the other big benefits of living in Lake Oswego are all the parks that are around. There's just under 30 parks right here in Lake Oswego, and that's not even counting the 6 elementary schools, and all of them have playgrounds that all the neighborhood kids use when school's out. So we also here, let me zoom in just a little bit more. We have Tryon Creek National Park right here, this whole nature area, all this green zone. So this kind of gives you a little border here, reference that separates Portland from Lake Oswego, and it's right here in between it. And this is an amazing natural resource to have if you live in and around this area. There's all kinds of hiking trails and everything all in through Tryon Creek. You can go biking, you can go hiking, you can take your dogs. I go meet a couple other dads here in Lake Oswego every now and then, and we'll take our kids and pack a little lunch or whatever, a little snack, and go walking through there. They have little footbridges over streams, and the paths are really big and wide, so it's friendly for the little kids, and it's not like, heavy duty hiking or anything on the main trails. So it's very, very kid friendly, which I really like. So just give you the lay of the land. This whole gridded area, this is called First Edition. And this is right near, butts up right against what we call downtown Lake Oswego. And that's all right in here. So if I hit the restaurants, see for that to pull up. You're really gonna see all the different restaurants all in here, and they're not even all coming up here, but all along A Avenue here, and this is 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street, on up. This whole area, this is like a 100% on the walking list, walking meter. So First Edition is a very expensive area to live in, probably one of the most expensive areas because it is so walkable in that area, and there are historic homes in that area, but you're also getting a lot of brand new builds where they'll scrape, tear down the original home. They can buy, a lot of those lots are going to be infill lots. Those are probably going to be around $100,000 or under. Those are going to be like around $1 million. I say 100,000. I wish. Those are going to be a little under $1 million for a really old house that needs to be totally gutted or just torn down. So there's a handful of boutique builders that will buy those up, tear them down, and then build a big house. And those kind of start at $2.25 million on up to $3 million, kind of in that range. It's kind of what those brand new builds are going for. And then we're also seeing a lot more of like duplex, shared, attached homes as well in this area. So if that's an option you might be interested in, that's a great area. They're just kind of little patio homes. They might just have a little bit of green space, a small patio, but you're walking distance to parks and all the shopping. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. And for those homes, you can get in under, in between like $1 million and $1.5 million. You can get something like that, right about now. There's also a lot of development going in down here, all in this First Edition, downtown Lake Oswego. But we're getting a boutique, right in this area, we're getting a boutique hotels coming in here. And they're also doing some brand new high-end penthouse condos all along here. And there's also multiple grocery shopping options all on here. So if I zoom out just a little bit, and let me take that off, click on the groceries, so you can see, so here's a Whole Foods right here, here's a Safeway, and we're actually getting a New Seasons Market that's coming in here on the south side, which is really cool. And that is gonna be right in here. And it's not on the list yet, but it's coming. There's a little shopping area right in here. We just got the coffee bean and tea leaf right here. And in this little shopping area is gonna be a New Seasons. I'm really looking forward to that because I live over in this area in the Palisades. So I won't be quite walking, but I could if I wanted to, and I could definitely ride my bike. So another area that's been getting the nickname Second Edition is right in here. That's part of the Hallinan neighborhood, right in here, because it's about a mile to downtown Lake Oswego, but there's also all these shops in here where this Whole Foods is, that's half a mile away. Plus there's some other little shopping that's all along here as well. So this is getting nicknamed Second Edition, and there's a lot of new homes that are going in this area, and they're infill lots, which means they're older homes that developers are tearing down and then building brand new homes. And so you can get one of those a lot cheaper than you can in First Edition, maybe even half the price in some cases. And so this is a great option as well. And depending on your budget, Hallinan is one of the more, Hallinan is also one of the more affordable areas to live in. There's a lot of 3-2 ranch style houses in Hallinan. They're older homes, so you can definitely get something that's been renovated or something that needs a little elbow grease if you want to get in there. And those are kind of like around the 700,000 mark right about now. And if there's something in there that you don't need a big house, Hallinan could be a great option for you. Or again, you could buy one of the brand new builds, and it's, you know, slowly getting more and more new builds in that area. So that could be a good option for you if you want the potential, if you want the walkability of first edition, but you don't want to pay those big prices, Hallinan could be a good option to look into. Okay, you also got the Willamette River right here on the east side that separates the east boundary of Lake Oswego. And there's George Rogers Park right here. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it so you can kind of see a little bit. I think I can jump right here on the beach. Yes, I can. So it's kind of hard to tell from here, but they also set up in the summertime, they set up a stand-up paddleboard and kayak rental shop, like a little shack right here, which is awesome. It's open right now. And it's almost a few days until summertime. Everybody here is excited. I am too. And so you can see here, there's kids down on the beach. There's a boat ramp right here. And this is all like a sandy area here, and all the kids go down there, and anybody can use that. You don't have to live in Lake Oswego, but we go down and access this all the time in the summer. There's ducks there, kids can feed the ducks, all that kind of fun stuff. And you know, if I pull back out, and I'll do the satellite image here, you can see the green space that they have here. Let me see if I can, jump in right here for you. But there's this green field that they have right here, part of George Rogers Park. There's this awesome little grassy area. There's a lot of history here, which I won't get into. This was a giant furnace. And here's a bunch of picnic tables that they have around here with little built-in barbecue grills. And there's a trail that goes all the way around here, and then with the stairs that go down in there. And I've shot a bunch of footage, just my kids hanging out here. We love going down to this park. But you can just, do a picnic out here in the middle. There's also kids playground up there. Pickleball courts that you can see here. Here's a kids playground. It's called the Oswego Playground. We love that area. We go there all the time. Very kid friendly for little toddlers or older kids. We've got a mix of all of it. And then they have soccer fields and baseball fields right here. And then these pickleball courts right here. And that gets competitive. I've never played pickleball, but I definitely want to one of these days. But with little kids, I have a 1.5-year-old and a 4.5-year-old right now. So that takes up a lot of my time. So we're doing more stuff oriented to that. So you can see all the shopping that they have, right here. And this is Old Town, Lake Oswego, all right in here. You're usually not going to see a lot of housing available in this, come up in this area. But if you like historic homes, this is something definitely to kind of keep an eye on or reach out to me about. Those homes are going to be definitely a lot closer together. I've highlighted some of those houses in some of my other videos as well. So right here is also Lake Oswego Swim Park. Lake Oswego has 2 swim parks. So here's one right here, and here's the other one right over here. So these are for the residents of Lake Oswego and all the kids. If you live in Lake Oswego, the kids can go. go there. They're only open in the summertime. They're usually, the lifeguards are high schoolers. And they're a great way to access the lake if you don't have a lake easement. If you live here in Lake Oswego, you know, and the lake is very restricted access to, you have to live in Lake Oswego or have an easement in Lake Oswego to be able to put a boat on there, or kayak, or any kind of those water sport things. But if you don't have the easement, you can use either of those parks, which are both great. So let me zoom out here a little bit. So that's George Rogers Park. Everybody loves that one. It's what we were just looking at. And here's South Shore right here, which goes along the south end of Lake Oswego. I live right off the South Shore over here in Palisades. Palisades is actually like a huge area, and then Hallidan's right next to it. And then there's some smaller neighborhoods as you get kind of around this side of it. And then up in here, there's a bunch of different neighborhoods as well. And one of the other things I'm going to show you as well, since we're on talking about parks, is Lusher Farm. So if you take McVeigh, go right here past George Rogers Park, and this turns into Stafford, then you go over here to Lusher Farm. So very quickly, one of the cool things about living in Lake Oswego is that you're right on the edge of what feels like the country, and farmland and vineyards are all just literally like right there at the edge of Lake Oswego. And so Lusher Farm was actually a really old, over 100-year-old farm that Lake Oswego, the city, actually purchased, and now all the residents can use it. So part of it they have fields for kids, which you can see right there. A sport field. The other part of it is dog parks, and the other part of it is community gardens. This is really cool. It's a huge community garden area. It's fun even if you don't garden, just to go walk through there in that area, which anybody can. And they have the historic farmhouse right here, and the barn. And the barn right here, which you can go and visit. And in here is an amazing garden that they also take care of. And that's a clematis garden, if I'm saying that correctly. And we go through here. There's picnic tables as well. There's a 100-year-old tree right here. It gives a ton of shade for those hot summer days, and they have picnic tables under there. So we'll go there on like a Thursday night and do bring takeout and just do our dinner there and let the kids kind of run around. They also have like a little chicken barn there, which kids love, and then more little farming here, more little gardening here, which usually have strawberries right there. And they have all these trails, which are probably kind of hard to see, but all these things are actually trails that go all along these fields, and you can go walk your dogs or just go walk in the rolling hills. Used to be farmland, and now those are just nature trails for the residents. And they also have these little paved roads that are in here that are also just little trails, little green belts. And those are for people to jog, or with the kids. We take our kids' little bikes there, and on the weekends or after school, and they love just going along these little strips here. And let me see if I can bring you in. Yeah, here's I can drop right in here by the big tree. Someone's taking a picture of that. Yeah, perfect. And here you can see the big barn right here. And here's those picnic tables I was telling you about, and this giant 100-year-old tree. And they have little trails that go here all through this amazingly manicured garden. It's all tended to by residents here in Lake Oswego that volunteer to help take care of it. They have a greenhouse, the chicken house is over there. Really, really beautiful area. And they also do organized kid events, And in the main house, which is right here, they'll also do organized events right there for the kids as well, which is really, really cool. And here's where they actually do real farming, and the produce that they raise there are available for purchase, what they call a CSA. You can get a seasonal that you can sign up for. You can get a half or a full order. And those are a lot of fun. We would go and pick those up on Thursday nights. So you can kind of see, this is Lake Oswego here. This is Cook's Butte Park, another amazing park that's all forested. It's a giant hill there. And there's trails all through there, and then it goes to a sidewalk that connects over to Lusher Farm. So from our house, we can walk to Lusher Farm by cutting through some of the trails through Cook's Butte. And that's one of the things I love about Lake Oswego. There's a picture right there of all the trees in Cook's Butte, is that there's so many parks here and trails that no matter what neighborhood you decide to live in, you're gonna have trails walking distance from your house. You're gonna have it. Or you're gonna have a park that's walking distance. And that's one of the big pluses, is having that little bit more intentional, slower lifestyle that Lake Oswego has to offer. And coupled with that, Lake Oswego also has one of the top 3 best school districts in the state. You can go look that up on the internet and dive in deeper on that. But it's top school district, one of the top places to live in Oregon because of the school districts, because it's very safe, low crime. You're right there next to the countryside. It's very, very intentional. It's just a great place to live, raise kids, or even if you don't have kids and you're a retiree. There's a real mix here of families, retirees. There's a real mix here there really is a real mix here of people. You don't have to just have a family to really appreciate Lake Oswego and get everything from it. But you don't have to have a family. You don't have to have kids to really get the full enjoyment out of Lake Oswego, because there's so many different nature aspects to living in Lake Oswego. It's really for everybody. But we do pay a little bit higher taxes here because of the school system and the special bonds that they put on there. We're right now in the middle. They just approved a new set of bonds that's going to increase the property taxes a little bit. So, and about 50% of those property taxes go to the schools. So that is one of the things that attracts people here, is the schools, but a lot of the property taxes are going to the schools. So it kind of feeds into that of if you have kids, and you might want to be able to take advantage of that. Okay, I could go on and on about the parks here. There's too many to get into. There really are a lot of really, really cool ones. Some of the other notable things, here's the Oswego Lake Country Club right here. So there's a lot of housing that's all around the country club. And obviously, if you're gonna be right on the country club with views right in your backyard, you're gonna pay a premium for that. But you could be right across the street and get something that is definitely more affordable. So Lake Oswego Country Club, you don't have to be a golfer to join. You could also, they have a social membership, which they have different activities throughout the year. You can access the restaurant, the pool. So if those are things that you like to just be more social and have access to meeting people that way, that's another option that is definitely available. Here's the Lake Oswego Junior High, here's the Lake Oswego High School, and then on the south side, there's another high school and another junior high. So over here, here's the middle school, over here the junior high, and here's the Lake Ridge High School. So that's Lake Ridge Middle School and the Lake Ridge High School. And on here, they just actually built a brand new Lake Ridge Middle School. It looks like on this picture they have the under construction. So that's brand new middle school. And it kind of, the school district is kind of, we're split up into two zip codes, 97034, 97035. And it kind of goes like this, and then 034 is like this, and so 35 is like this. And so it's generally speaking, if you're on the north side of the lake, you're going to go to the Lake Oswego High School, junior high, and if you're on the south side, you're typically going to go to the Lake Ridge High School and middle school. So if we back out here a little bit more, we also have a really great outdoor shopping area, and that is right off of Boone's Ferry Road, right here. And so you can see you cross right under the 5 here, and that's called the Bridgeport Village. And all this in here, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. They're actually doing some construction on this as well. Just drop right in there so you can check it out. And they're making it more of a green space there in the middle. We have a theater, you can see right there. And it's a really nice outdoor walkable mall. So it's nice if you just want to get out, walk around. There's an Apple store, there's a Barnes & Noble, there's a Pottery Barn, all kinds of things all through there. So I'll just pull out so you can kind of get a little better idea. And so actually redoing all this to make it more of like a green space, more friendly. More friendly for pedestrians. It'll be really cool to see what they end up doing with that. All right, so if I go ahead and pull out of here, let me recenter us. So you got that whole Bridgeport Mall shopping area, literally right there. And if you wanna, so one of the things, I live in the Palisades, and you can see it's a very hilly, all in Lake Oswego, especially on the south side. And let me just drop in here so you can get a little feel for it. Drop it on one of these streets here. So you can see how this is on an incline right here, Westview Court. Just get an idea of what the houses are like in here. It's a real variety. It's not a master planned community. So you really do get a real mix. Here's a house, that might be twice the size of this house right across the street. So you definitely get a real variety. It's not most of the housing here isn't brand new builds. They're a little bit older, and by older I mean 70s, 80s, 90s. So let me pull out there, and then it's totally going to be different when you're in these neighborhoods versus if you go up, one of these little streets by the lake. It's going to be totally different. Here you've got a newer build that they built. The lake's right on the other side of that. You can see the lake, right there. So they have these kind of little fingers, these roads on this southwest side of the lake. Here's back on South Shore, so you can kind of get an idea. This is going over one of the bridges. So here's the main lake right out this way. And you can see people have their kayaks out, have paddle boards, all their grills. And these are the people that live right on the lake, and they'll have these little boat houses to have their speedboats in to go skiing. And then here in these little fingers, call these little canals, you still get waterfront living, but the housing here is going to be way cheaper than if you were on the main part of the lake. The main part of the lake, you get the bigger, more open views. Here, you're a lot tighter, closer together, but you're on the lake. You'll have a little boathouse. You still get that full experience, but you might be in that like $2 million range instead of being in that $3 million up. And if I pull out, you'll really notice how green it is here. Because the lots, you generally are going to have bigger lots here in Lake Oswego, and there's just a ton of trees than say on the east side. Here's the southeast side of Portland. It's not as green because the lots aren't as big and there's not as many trees. They actually have a lot of tree ordinances here, and you got to get permission to cut down the trees here to help create that forested feeling in Lake Oswego. They actually have tree ordinances here, so if you want to be able to cut down a tree, you got to get special permission, but that's also what makes it so magical here. And I'm looking right outside my office window, and it's gorgeous out, the light coming down, trees everywhere, sunlight filtering in through the leaves. Really is magical. So this is also an area that I really like. Right over here, just to the west of First Edition. So this is Forest Hills. You're gonna have different trailheads to Tryon Creek State Park. And there's all these homes like all through here, but you're also still walking distance to First Edition. It's gonna be a longer walk, but you definitely bike it a lot easier for sure. And let me just drop in there a little bit so you can kind of get a little feel what some of those homes are like. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, here you go. You can get an idea of what some of the homes are in this area. There's like a 3-2 ranch. There's another couple of ranches. Here we go, 2007 pictures. Tons and tons of trees, all through here. The houses are back off the road a little bit. You're definitely just going to get a big variety. A lot of these houses still need to be updated. So there's a lot of opportunity here to buy a house, update it. But if you're not into updating, there's definitely homes available that don't need to be updated at all. You can get a little better view here. So, here is First Edition, downtown Lake Oswego. Here we go, Lake Grove over here. This is another great area to look at. Holy Orchard right over here. I love that area. Definitely check that out if you want something that's a little bit newer build. That could be a good option. Or if you want something with a lake easement, typically you're going to want to have a house that's closer to the lake. The houses that are closer to the lake are going to have lake easements. There's about 3,000 homes here in Lake Oswego that actually have lake easements. So they're not giving out new easements to new builds anymore. So if you live in one of the neighborhoods that are further out, built in the 80s or newer, typically those are not going to have easements. Something just keep in mind. And don't forget, if that's something you're interested in, reach out to me. My information's right down there. Shoot me a phone call, text message, or an email. reach out to me if you have any questions or you're thinking about moving to Lake Oswego, and I'd be happy to help you. So if you're thinking of moving to Lake Oswego, so one of the great things about Lake Oswego really is the school district. The school district here is amazing. That's one of the main reasons people that are reaching out to me that are thinking of moving to Lake Oswego, they've heard about the school district, they've heard about how safe it is to live here. It really is a great option if you want to be near downtown, not too far out, but have all the benefits of that its own small city town has, where you have your own police force, you have your own fire department, and there really is that central downtown Lake Oswego area where you'll end up running into people. We have farmers market here on Saturday mornings in the summer. In the summer, that's a lot of fun. Just go down there, everybody's out. They have a little green space there where people can just hang out. So just that small town feel really does exist here, and that sense of community is amazing here. And then you have, coupled with that, the fact that all of the nature that is here and surrounded by Lake Oswego just really draws a lot of people to this area. So you don't have to live on the lake or have lake access to really enjoy and experience living here in Lake Oswego. Last census, we just topped right over 40,000 residents. Before that, it was like around 39,000. Okay, everybody, well, that wraps up the map tour for Lake Oswego. If you're thinking of moving to Lake Oswego or the Portland metro area, give me a call. I know what it's like. I moved here myself, not knowing anyone. So let me make that a little bit easier for you. I have a great system for people moving out of state. Go ahead and reach out to me and give me a call. I'd love to help you. All right, thanks.